Well, I first came to India in 1983. Being white, people always look at you as a foreigner, I guess, that you are.
Right.
And you're a white man. For some reason, they feel
They let you cut the line.
they will help you first. Don't see to believe that because you are a Westerner,
that you're rich.
you are wealthy.
So, Bertrand, my first question for you is: when was the first time you came to India? And was it for a vacation, or was it because you were looking for something? Could you tell a little about that?
Well, I first came to India in 1983.
1983.
Yes, and I came to join Auroville.
Okay.
So I was that was my intent. So and I lived in then for a couple of years, 83, 84 till 85.
So the first time you came to India, you directly lived here for 2 years?
Yes, 2 years in Auroville.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And
my aim was to come back, and it took me 20 years. In the meanwhile, I raised the family and all the like. So when my kids were grown,
then you were able to come back again.
Yes, exactly. It was time for me to kids were either married or professionally stable, so didn't need the support. So then I came back in 2005.
Cool. How was your experience, like coming to Auroville the first time, or to India?
Well, the India of '83 is like another India. It's just, the India of today, you can't even imagine. Because it was very rural and semi-arid, the red earth and not so much tree as we have now in Auroville, and bullock carts, and you will go to Pondy on a bicycle, and there was nobody on the road.
Okay.
None of the roads were paved. Kudapalayam was a small little few houses. You can't even imagine. There was no phone. There was no electricity in Auroville. There was no running water.
Oh wow!
There was one phone in the Matrimony there. You wanted to make a phone, you had to cycle to Pondy and then order your call for the next day, and all this kind. So it's a completely different world. It was just. It was lovely. And
there was no pollution, no littering all around?
No, there was no plastics. This didn't exist. Everything was wrapped in leaf.
Okay.
Or they used to sew the leaves together to make wrapping. Those big leaf, I don't know what they're called. They used to sew them together and make this wrapping for the vadai. You used to get 10 vadai for 1 rupee.
That's nice.
And the monthly. It was a different world. You can't know a world, an India that is gone.
Right.
It just doesn't exist anymore. Sadly, it was also much poorer. So India has become much richer, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
People were quite poor here. They used to have their one cloth and the turban, and the turban was a blanket for the night, and
right.
And there was a lot of poverty, a lot of begging in Pondicherry. All of this has disappeared. There's a lot of beggars in Pondicherry.
Yeah.
There's no more beggars in Pondicherry, or almost none.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah.
I think if somebody wants to work, I think they can find something or the other now.
Yes, and you used to go out, those people were poor, and there was, hordes of beggars. And all this is gone, and so there's a lot of positive
changes.
Yeah, with everything that comes with modernity.
Yeah.
So that is the pollution, the cars, and all those things that we could probably, I personally could do with less of, but I think overall, I think India is, for the well-being of the people, it has improved.
It has improved.
Dramatically.
Right.
In the most spectacular way. Yeah.
And what is your experience like being a Westerner in India? I know Auroville is slightly different, but let's talk about your experience as a Westerner outside of Auroville, like when you go to Pondicherry or when you travel around. Yeah.
Well, as you say, Auroville is not India. It's special. And so when you go, I spend most of my time in Auroville, so I have not an extended experience of being outside of India, but being a foreigner outside of India, being white, people always look at you as a foreigner, I guess, that you are.
Right.
And so it's always, it does funny things. For instance, there is a queue. They will make you go in the front.
Okay.
pretty, they're, oh, you're the white man. For some reason, they feel
they let you
they will help you first.
Right.
There's this idea that they will help you first. So this is very nice. It's a pleasant thing that they, as you're a guest, so we honor you. So please come on first. And so they will treat you in that way very nicely. They're always helpful. People are always helpful.
That's
outside of rare exception where, you have the grouchy guy, but most 99% of the time people will be helpful. There's not a single time. So overall, pleasant. It's a bit awkward at times.
Yeah.
Because they don't exactly know where to put you.
Right.
When in the Indian society, they know where to place people. Like I do in the West. I know where to place people, the way they talk, the way they dress. You can see their social background, and you can see, so you know how to address. Here you are Westerners, they don't know, which class, where, who, how. So it's always, sometimes it's a bit awkward. But for the most part, it's been pleasant. The unpleasant part is a tendency to believe that because you are a Westerner,
that you're rich.
You are wealthy.
Right.
And so there's always this idea that,
they can make money.
We can get some sort of financial advantage out of you.
Right.
And not all Westerners are rich.
Yeah.
Well, this might have been true when I was here in '83 in India, where Westerners were probably,
richer.
Generally speaking, richer than Indians. Nowadays, there's a lot of Indians that are far wealthier than the average Western tourist in India.
Right.
So that's a little bit of, you'll pay, you take an auto rickshaw, they will always charge you more, all this. But once you've been here long enough, you know the price, so you bargain and so.
Right.
But overall the experience is nice. People are pleasant. There's no, even in terms of visa administration, anything that has to do with the administration in India, people have always been
helpful,
courteous, helpful.